Well, good morning and welcome to Wake Up Wednesday. This is Regina Clark, and I am here in Colorado Springs. And last week I got pretty real, pretty vulnerable about self-love, self-acceptance. And I have to say, I'm not just completely engulfed and a hater on myself all the time. But what I think is the bigger thing is this incessant critic that shows up and has for most of my life, that it's hard to find the acceptance of just being right here, right now, and being okay with where I'm at. And I must say that I have grown incredibly in this area. I've never dealt with severe, some of the depression or suicide or cutting, or I don't know, just there are many ways, levels and layers that this can show up. And I am working my way further and further to the top so that I can be my best and have the greatest impact on the world around me. So I just wanted to say that, I'm good in the sense that I'm striving for better. But I also want to speak to that because I was definitely taught that actually a saying, a mantra, was thankful but never satisfied. So that has pretty much been ingrained into my thought process, my subconscious, that you can be thankful for where you're at, but you're never satisfied where you're at. And the idea behind that is that you're going to then strive to go further or to be better. Well, I think it's innate. I think it's human nature that we're going to want to be better. And so this idea of never satisfied, I'm finding I need to reframe that in my life at this point, because I do want to be satisfied in the very space that I exist in, and that all is well and I am in process. So I think the word is that I'm really looking for, and maybe it's a better fit, self-love communicates to me, but acceptance, self-acceptance that says I'm okay. I'm okay right here, right now. I'm doing the best that I can. If I could do better, I would. And when I can do better, I will. It's a process. It's a journey. And as soon as I can be okay with the idea that I'm not going to arrive, I'm working, striving because I'm going to reach the finish line. Well, until I cross over, until I pass away, until there's something bigger in the future, I believe that I will always be on this journey. And so being okay with where I'm at is critical to my progress. And I was thinking, as I was thinking about what I was going to talk about today, I know we've talked about it, Ready to Fly. It's a book. It's stories of hope and inspiration. It's an anthology, a collection of stories, and I'm one of the stories in the book. And my story is called The Girl in the Glass. And again, this theme is big for me, but part of what it says is that, the fellow whose verdict counts most in your life is the one staring back in the glass. And again, that's this whole idea of what I'm speaking to. But I thought it was interesting when I went back through my chapter, because I was thinking how I talked about last week, I read that thing by, can't think of his name, Aubrey was his last name. But anyway, about the addiction to suffering. And so I definitely feel like that's been a truth for me. And I am moving out of that addiction. As a matter of fact, I'm addressing several addictions this year. I'll tell you about that maybe next week. So one of the things that I was thinking about is how I talk in here that I believe, I believe my greatest life's work has been to quiet the inner critic. To quiet the religious, deep-seated voice that labeled me as an unworthy, broken sinner. The voice that never offers applause or celebration when I get things right, because it's just what I should be doing. But if I get things wrong, then there's hell to pay. Of course, it's all self-inflicted. It's me doing it to myself. And so that's why I'm having this different conversation to be okay with where I'm at and to offer myself the grace and the praise and the celebration of the journey that I've been on and how far I've come. And I know, again, there's so many pieces, but even when I say this deep-seated voice that labeled me as an unworthy, broken sinner. Now, wow, there's a lot to that, but what I want to say is that I was so committed to this idea of being unworthy, this idea that a sinner in need of a Savior. Now, just to take that at face value is one thing, but when it moves into these deeper places that you are broken and unworthy and that it's not going to work unless you are rescued, and that in your very existence you are unworthy. And so it's interesting that probably my favorite song that I used to love, because it just brought me to tears every time, and I mean truly, deeply, was the song "Unworthy Was I of the Grace That You Gave, Unworthy to Hold to His Hand." Anyway, the song is called "Unworthy." Now, if that doesn't tell us a thing or two, oh my goodness. So truly, I thought that was the best song that was ever written, because I could hook in emotionally to this place that I knew so well, which was this place of unworthiness and not being okay with who I am and where I'm at. And so I think that all these things are worth thinking about, seeing where you're at. Maybe it's not a major thing, but maybe there's just this subtle critic who every time you do something, you go back and you find all the things wrong with it. Every time you look in the mirror, I think us women, we have been so conditioned, and I know it's true for me, it does not matter if I am at my top weight, if I am at my best weight, if I am out of shape or in shape. When I look in the mirror, I'm going to find something wrong. It's not about what's good and right and lovely and how proud I can be of myself. So I just think this is a conversation worth having, and I am willing to put myself out there to talk about it because it has been an area in my life. And I know that I've also said in the book, I talked about one of the things that I would say is, oh, if I could just have peace. Oh, if I could just have peace. And to me, that means to be able to rest, and what I realize that is, if war and peace do not coexist, right? They're the antithesis of each other. So if I am declaring war on myself, how in the world am I ever going to get to a state of peace? So that's what I wish for you this week, is that you will be kind, loving, and accepting of who you are, where you're at in your journey, and looking forward to the great things to come. And take care of yourself this week, and just be kind and forgiving and accepting of who you are, regardless of how you're killing it, or maybe you think that you're not, because you are worthy and deserving of all good things. I will see you next week on Wake Up Wednesday.